Here's the thing, having a PS5 is great, but actually knowing what to play, that's where it gets tricky. I've been gaming for years, and I still find myself staring at my library wondering what to start next. So I made this video to solve that problem. These are 16 games that I think everyone should play at least once. Whether you're a hardcore gamer or someone who just plays on weekends, trust me, your backlog is about to get a lot longer. Look, I know we're all still recovering from Ghost of Tsushima, but Sucker Punch is about to do it again with Ghost of Yotei. We're jumping forward 300 years to 1603, swapping Jin's story for a new protagonist named Atsu, and honestly, I'm already obsessed. The shift from Tsushima Island to the lands around Mount Yotei in Hokkaido means we're getting entirely new landscapes to explore. And if the trailer is anything to go by, this place is absolutely gorgeous. What gets me excited is how Sucker Punch takes their time between games. They're not just reskinning the same experience. They learned everything that made Tsushima special, and they're building on it. The combat will likely feel familiar but refined. The world will be even more immersive, and knowing this studio, the story is going to hit hard. Plus, we're getting a female protagonist this time, which opens up completely different narrative possibilities in feudal Japan. If you love the first game's mix of samurai action, stealth gameplay, and those jaw-dropping standoffs, Yotei is shaping up to be an absolute must-play. The fact that they're confident enough to move away from Jin's story tells me they've got something special planned. Here's the thing about Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. These games are basically playable action movies, and on PS5, they're running better than ever. If you somehow missed these when they first dropped on PS4, this collection is genuinely the perfect way to jump in. Uncharted 4 wraps up Nathan Drake's story in the most satisfying way possible. And I'm not gonna lie, the ending still gets me every time. The set pieces are absolutely insane, the writing is sharp and funny, and the graphics hold up so well that sometimes I forget these games are almost a decade old. Then you've got Lost Legacy, which honestly doesn't get enough love. Chloe and Nadine's adventure through India is shorter, sure, but it's packed with some of the best puzzles and action sequences in the entire series. The PS5 version gives you performance mode running at 120 frames per second if your TV supports it, and trust me, once you play Uncharted at that frame rate, it's hard to go back. The gunfights feel snappier, the platforming is smoother, and those vehicle sections are way more responsive. Whether you're a longtime fan wanting to revisit these games, or someone who's never experienced Naughty Dog's treasure hunting adventures, this collection is an easy recommendation. Mexico has never looked this good in a racing game. And I mean that. Forza Horizon 5 is honestly one of those games where you'll find yourself just driving around, not even doing races, because the world is so incredibly detailed and fun to explore. You've got everything from dense jungles and ancient ruins to coastal towns and an actual active volcano, and the way the seasons change the entire map keeps things feeling fresh even after dozens of hours. The car list is absolutely massive. We're talking over 500 cars, so whether you're into classic muscle cars, modern supercars, or weird quirky vehicles, there's something here for you. What I love about Horizon 5 is how accessible it is. You can tune every setting to make it as realistic or as arcadey as you want, which means both hardcore racing sim fans and casual players can have a blast. The online features are seamless too. You'll just naturally encounter other players cruising around, and jumping into races or challenges with friends is effortless. And can we talk about how stunning this game looks on PS5? The lighting, the weather effects, the way dust kicks up behind your car, it's all next level. If you want a racing game that's equal parts chill vibes and adrenaline-pumping action, Horizon 5 is absolutely the one. Bloober Team really had something to prove with this remake, and honestly, they absolutely nailed it. If you played the original back in 2001, prepare to have those memories completely reimagined in the best way possible. The updated over-the-shoulder camera makes the horror feel way more intimate and claustrophobic, and the new combat system actually makes you feel vulnerable instead of just clunky. James's journey through Silent Hill is still one of the most psychologically disturbing stories in gaming, and experiencing it with modern graphics and sound design is genuinely unsettling in a whole new way. The fog looks incredible, the monster designs are horrifying, and Pyramid Head has never been more terrifying. What impressed me most is how they expanded certain sections without losing what made the original special. There are new areas to explore, updated puzzles that make more sense, and the voice acting brings these broken characters to life in ways that the original couldn't quite achieve. This isn't just a fresh coat of paint, it's a complete reimagining that respects the source material while making it accessible to new players. The atmosphere is suffocating in the best way, and those moments of pure dread hit just as hard, if not harder, than they did over 20 years ago. China's first AAA action game is here, and it's making a serious statement. Based on Journey to the West, one of the most important stories in Chinese literature, Black Myth, Wukong throws you into this absolutely stunning world full of mythological creatures, gods, and demons. The combat system is heavily inspired by Souls games, but it's got its own identity with the focus on staff combat and transformation abilities. You're playing as the Destined One, essentially following in Sun Wukong's footsteps, and the journey is equal parts challenging and breathtaking. What really stands out is the visual presentation. Game Science clearly put everything into making this look phenomenal, and on PS5, it's genuinely one of the best-looking games available. The boss fights are spectacular. Each one feels like this massive event with multiple phases and attack patterns you need to learn. The transformation abilities let you turn into different creatures mid-combat, which adds this whole extra layer of strategy. Yeah, the difficulty can be brutal at times, and the English translation isn't perfect, but none of that matters when you're in the middle of an intense boss fight or exploring these gorgeous environments. This is a landmark game for the Chinese gaming industry, and as a Souls-like fan, I'm here for everything it's bringing to the table. Korean developer Shift Up came out swinging with their first console game, and Stellar Blade is way better than a lot of people expected. You play as Eve, this badass warrior fighting to reclaim Earth from these monstrous beings called Natabas, and the combat system is genuinely fantastic. It takes clear inspiration from games like Nier Automata and Devil May Cry, giving you this fast-paced, combo-heavy action that rewards perfect timing and aggression. The parry system is so satisfying once you nail the timing. There's nothing quite like perfectly countering a massive boss attack and following up with a devastating combo. What surprised me most is how ambitious the world design is. You've got this post-apocalyptic Earth with ruined cities to explore, secrets to find, and side quests that actually add to the story. Yeah, the game generated some controversy for Eve's character design, but honestly, if you can look past the discourse, there's a really solid action game here. The boss fights are challenging and memorable, the upgrade system gives you meaningful choices for your playstyle, and the graphics are absolutely gorgeous on PS5. The story gets surprisingly dark and philosophical as it goes on too. If you're into character action games and you're looking for something that plays like a premium Platinum Games title, Stellar Blade deserves your attention. This game has no business being as addictive as it is. Like, on paper, it sounds weird. You're a diver who catches fish during the day and then serves them at a sushi restaurant at night. But somehow this indie gem became one of my most played games last year. The loop is so simple yet so satisfying. You dive down, catch whatever fish you can while managing your oxygen, maybe fight off some aggressive sea creatures, then head back up and prep for the dinner rush. The sushi restaurant management is actually engaging. You're hiring staff, upgrading equipment, creating new menu items, and trying to keep customers happy. What keeps me coming back is how much content they've packed into this. There's a full story mode with mysteries to uncover, boss fights that get genuinely challenging, farming elements, a card game minigame, and they keep adding more stuff with free updates. The pixel art style is absolutely charming, and the humor lands perfectly. It's one of those games where you tell yourself just one more dive, and suddenly it's 3 a.m. For the price point, the amount of content you're getting is insane. Whether you play it for 20 hours or 100 hours, Dave the Diver is pure cozy chaos, and I love every minute of it. Ubisoft really went back to their roots with this one, and as someone who grew up on the original Prince of Persia games, I'm so happy they did. The Lost Crown is a full-on Metroidvania, and it's easily one of the best in the genre. You play as Sargon, this young warrior trying to rescue the prince, and the time manipulation mechanics are woven into both combat and platforming in really clever ways. The movement feels absolutely perfect. Wall running, air dashing, double jumping. Everything is so precise and responsive that when you die, you know it's on you, not the control. The combat has this great rhythm where you're parrying, dodging, and unleashing special abilities, and the boss fights are genuinely tough, but fair. What really impressed me is the world design. Mount Koth is this massive interconnected map with secrets everywhere, and the fast travel system is smart enough that backtracking never feels like a chore. They added this screenshot feature where you can literally take a picture of puzzle solutions or hidden paths, which is genius for a game this big. The art style is gorgeous too, this Persian-inspired aesthetic with vibrant colors and detailed environments. If you're into games like Hollow Knight or Ori, The Lost Crown absolutely deserves to be in that conversation. It's challenging, rewarding, and packed with content. If you somehow still haven't played The Witcher 3, the PS5 version is genuinely the definitive way to experience one of the greatest RPGs ever made. You're playing as Geralt, this grizzled monster hunter searching for his adopted daughter, and the journey takes you across multiple regions filled with political intrigue, moral choices, and some of the best side quests in gaming history. What makes Witcher 3 special is how every choice feels like it matters. You'll make decisions that seem minor, and then 20 hours later, they'll come back to impact the story in ways you never expected. The world is absolutely massive, and it's not just big for the sake of it. Every village has stories, every contract feels unique, and the characters you meet are genuinely memorable. The complete edition includes both expansions, and honestly, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine are better than most full game. The PS5 upgrade adds ray tracing, faster load times, and performance mode options, plus they integrated some quality of life improvements that make the experience smoother. The combat took me a bit to get used to. It's more about preparation and timing than button mashing. But once it clicks, it feels great. Whether you're hunting monsters, playing Gwent, or just exploring, there's hundreds of hours of content here. This is essential gaming. Persona 5 Royal is one of those games that completely takes over your life, and I mean that in the best way possible. You're a high school student by day and a phantom thief by night, diving into people's distorted desires to change their hearts. The style, the music, the UI, everything about this game oozes cool. The turn-based combat is way more engaging than it has any right to be, with the focus on exploiting enemy weaknesses and pulling off all-out attacks that never get old. But what really makes Persona 5 Royal special is the social sim aspect. You're building relationships with your friends and confidants, and these aren't just throwaway side activities. They affect your combat abilities and unlock new story content. Royal adds a whole extra semester, a new party member in Kasumi, and expanded storylines that make an already amazing game even better. The jazz soundtrack is absolutely perfect, and Shido's Palace still gives me chills. Yeah, it's a long game. We're talking 100 plus hours, but it never feels like it's wasting your time. Every dungeon introduces new mechanics, every confidant story hits different, and the ending is so satisfying. If you've never played a Persona game before, Royal is the perfect entry point. Just be warned, once you finish it, every other JRPG is going to feel a little less stylish by comparison. The Like a Dragon series just keeps getting better, and Infinite Wealth might be the best one yet. Ichiban is back, and this time we're splitting the story between Hawaii and Japan, which gives the game this amazing variety in settings and tone. The turn-based combat system they introduced in Yakuza, Like a Dragon returns, but it's way more refined now. The job system is deeper, the party dynamics are better, and the battles are just more fun overall. What I love about this series is how it can go from deeply emotional drama to absolutely ridiculous side content in seconds. 1 minute you're dealing with serious Yakuza politics and personal struggles. The next, you're managing a resort, racing go-karts, or getting into the most bizarre sub-stories you've ever seen. The addition of Hawaii as a location is brilliant. You get these beautiful beaches, tourist spots, and a completely different atmosphere from the usual Japanese city setting. Kiryu's back too, and his storyline hits really hard if you've been following the series. The writing is top tier, the characters are memorable, and there's easily 80 plus hours of content if you do everything. Even if you're new to the series, Infinite Wealth is a great jumping in point. It's got heart, humor, and some of the best storytelling in gaming. This is another massive Chinese Souls-like, and it's bringing something different to the table. Set during the late Ming Dynasty with this dark, plague-infested twist, Wuchang has this gritty, brutal atmosphere that sets it apart. You're playing as a pirate warrior dealing with not just human enemies, but these horrific plague-infected creatures, and the setting is absolutely dripping with atmosphere. The combat looks incredibly fast and aggressive, less about the calculated, defensive style of Dark Souls and more about overwhelming offense and fluid movement. What's catching people's attention is the weapon variety and transformation mechanics. You're switching between different fighting styles mid-combo, and the feather-based abilities add this unique supernatural element to fights. The world design seems to lean into these massive, elaborate set pieces, giant statues, plague-ravaged cities, twisted landscapes that feel genuinely unsettling. This is Lindsay Games' debut title, and the ambition on display is impressive. Yeah, we haven't seen a ton of gameplay yet, but what's been shown suggests they're not just copying From Software's formula, they're adding their own cultural influences and gameplay ideas. If you're hungry for more challenging action RPGs with that Souls-like DNA, Wuchang is shaping up to be a must-watch. The Chinese gaming industry is really making waves right now. Bandai Namco finally brought Tekken back in a huge way, and Tekken 8 is easily the most accessible entry in the series, while still maintaining that high-skill ceiling veterans love. The headline feature is the Heat system, which completely changes the flow of matches. You can activate Heat to enhance your attacks, extend combos, and apply pressure in ways that make every round feel intense. What's great is how it benefits both new and experienced players. Beginners get a powerful tool to mount comebacks, while pros are already finding insane tech with it. The roster is fantastic, mixing classic characters with great newcomers, and every fighter feels distinct with their own playstyle. The story mode is absolutely bonkers in the best way. We're talking family drama cranked to 11, with the Mishima bloodline finally getting some closure. The graphics are stunning on PS5, and the online netcode is fantastic, which is crucial for a fighting game. Ranked matches feel smooth, and the new Fight Lounge system makes it easy to hang out with friends between matches. What impressed me most is how Tekken 8 respects your time. The tutorials are actually helpful, the single-player content is substantial, and jumping into online doesn't feel as intimidating as previous entries. Whether you're a fighting game veteran or someone who just likes mashing buttons with friends, Tekken 8 delivers. This is not your typical RPG, and honestly, that's exactly why it's special. There's no combat whatsoever. Instead, you're solving a murder mystery as a detective who woke up with complete amnesia after a legendary bender. Every decision you make shapes who your character becomes. And I'm not talking about simple good or evil choices. We're talking about building an actual personality through dialogue and internal thoughts. Your skills literally talk to you. Your logical thinking, your empathy, your physical instincts. They all have opinions, and they're constantly arguing about what you should do. The writing is phenomenal. Easily some of the best in gaming. It's funny, dark, philosophical, and surprisingly touching. The art style is gorgeous with this oil painting aesthetic, and the voice acting in the final cut adds so much to the already incredible dialogue. You can play as a moralist cop, a communist detective, a fascist, an art critic who's bad at being a cop. The role-playing possibilities are genuinely endless. Fair warning, this game is text-heavy. You're reading a lot, but it's so well written that it never feels like a chore. The mystery itself is compelling, but the real draw is exploring this weird, broken city and figuring out who you want your character to be. It's weird, it's brilliant, and there's nothing else quite like it. Naughty Dog took their masterpiece and rebuilt it from the ground up for PS5, and the results are stunning. If you played the original on PS3 or even the remaster on PS4, this is a completely different visual experience. Joel and Ellie's journey across post-apocalyptic America hits just as hard as it did back in 2013, maybe even harder now with the improved facial animations and performance capture. You feel every emotion, every moment of tension, every quiet conversation between these two broken people trying to survive. The gameplay has been modernized with mechanics from Part 2. The combat feels weightier, the AI is smarter, and encounters have more options for approach. Stealth is more viable, gunfights are more intense, and resource management still keeps you on edge. What makes The Last of Us special isn't just the infected or the action, it's the relationship between Joel and Ellie. Watching their bond develop over the course of the game, seeing how they change each other, and experiencing one of gaming's most controversial endings never gets old. The DualSense features add so much immersion too. You feel every gunshot, every click of an empty chamber, the crunch of broken glass under your feet. If you've never played it, Part 1 is the definitive version. If you have played it, this remake makes you fall in love with it all over again. Guerrilla Games took everything that worked in Zero Dawn and cranked it up to 11. Aloy's back, and this time she's exploring the Forbidden West, basically post-apocalyptic California, Nevada, and Utah. And the environments are absolutely breathtaking. We're talking underwater ruins, desert wastelands, lush valleys, and these massive machine-filled landscapes that are just begging to be explored. The machine combat is still the core of the experience, and it's better than ever. You're analyzing weaknesses, tearing off components, setting traps, and taking down these incredible robo-dinosaurs in fights that feel like actual hunts. The new machines are creative and challenging. Wait until you fight a Slitherfang or a Tremortusk. These encounters are intense. What really impressed me is how they improved the climbing and traversal. You've got a grappling hook, a glider, and the ability to climb almost anything, which makes exploration so much more fluid. The story dives deeper into the mysteries of the old world and introduces new tribes and characters that actually feel meaningful. Yeah, the dialogue can be a bit exposition-heavy at times, but when you're uncovering the secrets of what happened to Earth, it's hard not to get invested. The PS5 version looks phenomenal. The performance mode runs at 60 frames per second and still looks gorgeous. If you loved Zero Dawn, Forbidden West is more of what you love, but refined. If you're new to the series, this is one of the best open-world action games on PS5. And there you have it. 16 games that genuinely deserve a spot in your PS5 library. Look, I know everyone's backlog is already massive, but trust me, these are worth bumping to the top of your queue. Now I'm curious, which of these have you already played? And more importantly, which ones did I miss that you think should have made the list? Drop a comment and let me know, because I'm always looking for my next obsession. If this video helped you find your next game, hit that like button and subscribe for more PS5 recommendations. I've got a ton more content coming your way. Until next time, happy gaming!